Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on your YouTube channel, the platform that you can take advantage of to take your English to the next level. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the proven methods that you can use and take advantage of to improve your English speaking skills and speak English better. I know many of you might be wondering how you can improve your speaking, what you should do, what you need to do to improve your English, and all the skills related to this language that you need to upgrade to be able to speak better at a more advanced level. I'm here talking to you all about this. Are you ready? Of course you are. But before we continue, I kindly want you to like this video in support of your YouTube English teacher, in support of me. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and also leave some positive comments down below to provide me with the energy I need to keep making these videos for you. Let's get started. I'm going to be sharing 10 tips with you in today's video that you can take advantage of and use to your advantage to be able to improve your English speaking skills. Many of you have the problem of not being able to speak English well, or not knowing what to do in order to speak English better or take it a step further, which is why in today's video I decided to focus on 10 practical points, 10 proven points that if you pay attention to and prioritize in the process of improving your English, you can easily speak better. The tip number one is that you need to practice English on a regular basis. You need to practice regularly. Yeah, that's right. You need to expose yourself to the English language, to the different aspects of this language, different dimensions of it, each and every single day on a regular basis. If you do not practice English on a regular basis, let's say if you practice once a week, or only, let's say once a month, or not frequently, then you will not be able to improve this language, because learning English and also improving your speaking skills is exactly similar to going to the gym. Can you build bulging muscles by going to the gym only once a month? Of course it's not possible. The same goes for English. The exact same idea is applicable to how you should improve your English speaking skills and how you need to practice this language. So practice English on a regular basis. Set yourself a goal and tell yourself, all right, I'm going to speak English better. This is my target. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to reach this goal and target. Let's say by the end of a specific date. Once you set yourself a clear goal, you need to practice on a regular basis to get closer and closer to your goal and to make sure that you're reaching your goal, or you're just one step closer to your goal, or you're doing everything you can, all that you can, or whatever it takes to get yourself one step closer to your goal. So practice on a regular basis. Speak English each and every single day. That's right. You need to practice speaking each and every single day. Depending on the amount of the free time that you have, you can speak English. I highly recommend that you do this at least for a minimum of 2 hours a day, and divide this 2 hours into smaller units and smaller parts, like 30 minutes every 3 hours or 15 minutes every 2 hours and 3 hours. No matter how busy you are, you can always allocate a certain amount of time to speak in English on a daily basis. You can speak to yourself, you can stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself, and talk to yourself in front of a mirror. I think this is the best practice to boost not only your speaking skills, but also your self-confidence when it comes to speaking. Not just English, but any language. And also try to find a speaking partner. A speaking partner can help you improve your English skills like at a much faster pace that you cannot believe and imagine. I mean, if you can find a native speaking partner, then it can go a long way towards helping you improve your English speaking skills. So by talking to your partner and asking your partner to correct you when you speak English, you can improve your English step by step, gradually, day by day, minute by minute, And after a long period of time, you realize that your English has improved significantly and you've come a long way. The tip number 2, expand your English vocabulary. What do I mean by expanding your English vocabulary? Well, the answer is abundantly clear, like pretty obvious. You need to learn new words each and every single day, new idioms, new collocations. You need to read lots of books, or you can also go on the internet and take advantage of Google and watch YouTube videos, activate captions, and have a look at these sentences that you can see on the screen, scan the words, analyze the sentences. So try to expose yourself to English content as much as you can, especially English vocabulary, idioms, collocations, new words. They can help you expand your English vocabulary. The more words you know, the more ideas you have in your head. And the more ideas you have, the more you can speak and the longer you can speak English. So learning new words helps you have more ideas and also be able to speak English longer, because the library of your mind has access to more items and more words to choose to put inside your sentences, to be able to form the sentences and form conversations and dialogues and paragraphs, and eventually be able to communicate with people or with others in English. The other useful tip is to engage with English media. What do I mean by engaging with English media? You can watch news on TV in English. You can follow news channels on YouTube. You can also watch content in English. What I mean by engaging with English media is that you watch any type of content in English. You can also listen to English podcasts, English songs, anything in English. The more you expose yourself, the more you expose your eyes and also your ears to English content, English movies, English books, English documentaries, English series, English songs, then the faster you can improve your English speaking skills, because your mind can easily copy the sentences that you hear and use them in your own conversations to communicate with others. Which is why I strongly recommend that you watch, movies in English, documentaries, series, and things of that nature. So the more you listen to things in English, read things in English, watch things in English, the better you can speak, because the longer words and sentences stay in your memory and in your mind, and the faster and better you can remember them. And eventually, the faster you can form your sentences, and the more quickly you can speak with others and communicate with them in English. The tip number 4 that I highly recommend that you should take advantage of is mimicking native speakers. What do I mean by mimicking native speakers? Try to listen to native speakers speak English, and as they speak English, try to repeat each and every single word and sentence that they're trying to say. You can do this by watching movies and videos in English. Let me give you the example of YouTube videos. Take my YouTube channel, for example, or me, for example. I'm speaking English to you now in front of the camera, right? So what you can do is, when you're watching my videos, pause the video sentence by sentence. When I say a sentence, pause the video, stop it, and try to repeat the sentence that I just said. By repeating the sentences and the words used and said by native speakers in videos and also in movies, you can take advantage of the shadowing technique, which means you try to say the exact same word and the exact same sentence as a native speaker said in a clip, in a video, or in a movie. And this way you can practice speaking better, or you can practice, imitating how native speakers speak. And eventually, when you do this for a long period of time, you can look like native speakers, because you've just done this so many times. They always say practice makes perfect, meaning that when you do this for a long period of time, then you can easily speak in the same way as native speakers do. You can also record yourself while speaking English. Record a video of yourself while speaking English. When you record yourself while speaking English and then later on you listen to your own audio file or you watch the video that you've recorded of yourself while speaking English, you can have a better idea about how you're doing it, how you're speaking English, and how you're performing in this specific language. You can get more familiar with your own problems, and you can also have better ideas about how you can improve these problems, how you can solve these problems and get them out of the way and improve your speaking skills. So don't forget to record your own voice or record videos of yourself while speaking English, and watching those videos or listening to the audio files later on at some time in the future to be able to have a better impression of how you're speaking English, or to have a better idea of how you're doing it and what you should do and what steps you need to take to solve your problems and improve your speaking skills. The tip number 5, you can join the English clubs or speaking clubs in your own city, or the speaking communities in which people speak English to improve their speaking skills. By joining these communities and these clubs, you can join a group of people sharing the same goal, the same values, and doing their best to reach the same goal, which is improving their speaking skills. When you speak English with a group of people, you can practice your speaking skills. You can learn some words, idioms, expressions from them, or they can learn the same things from you, and that way you do your best to share your knowledge with one another to be able to reach your goal of improving your speaking skills and to speak better. So you can find the speaking clubs in your own city on the internet, or you can use the platforms that connect people with one another in the form of speaking clubs or speaking communities. And by doing so, you can give yourself the opportunity to take your speaking skills a step further and speak English better. The tip number 6, focus on fluency, not accuracy. What do I mean by fluency and what do I mean by accuracy? Accuracy means speaking English accurately and correctly all the time without making grammatical mistakes or using the wrong words. And fluency means speaking English fluently, speaking English consistently, persistently, and continuously. Your number 1 priority should be speaking English fluently, not accurately. The fact that you prioritize speaking English accurately puts you under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. The pressure of speaking English correctly and as perfectly as you can. And this puts you in a situation in which, because you feel concerned and worried and stressed out all the time, you don't enjoy speaking English. You don't enjoy practicing English. So try to prioritize fluency, not accuracy, and your number 1 priority, your high priority should be speaking English fluently. Just because you're making some grammatical mistakes or you're not using the right words, it does not mean that you have to stop yourself from speaking, or you need to avoid speaking English and practicing this language. Always keep in mind that language fluency is more important than language accuracy, because when someone speaks fluently, eventually we can understand what they're trying to say and what they're trying to talk about, because they can get the message across. But when someone speaks English accurately but not fluently, then they try our patience and make us feel bored. So we'd rather not continue listening to them speaking English, which is why I strongly believe that you shouldn't really care a lot about or care too much about speaking English correctly, using advanced grammatical structures, not making vocabulary mistakes, or not making any mistakes while speaking English. What you should actually do is care a lot more about your English fluency by trying to speak, by actually taking advantage of all the tips that I've shared with you in the video so far to speak English more fluently. And once you master speaking English fluently, or you have mastery of speaking English fluently, then you can focus your mind, your attention, and all your energy on finding out how you can speak as accurately as you can and as accurately as possible. So never prioritize accuracy, always prioritize fluency. The tip number 7, expand your English grammar, your knowledge of English grammar. How? You can read English grammar books. You can also watch videos on YouTube which are focused on teaching students how to use grammar rules. You can also pay attention to the sentence structures used by native speakers in their sentences, while watching the videos that you're watching in English. But I think the easiest way to improve your English grammar is by studying English grammar books. I highly recommend this grammar book, Practical English Usage by Michael Swan, which is a fantastic, gorgeous, fabulous, exceptional, and wonderful book when it comes to English grammar. This book is highly recommended not only for language learners and students, but also teachers, even experienced teachers, to take their knowledge of English grammar to the next level, a step further, and be able to teach a wider variety of grammatical structures. This book covers all parts and all types of English grammar, and there's nothing that this book has not talked about and covered when it comes to English grammar. So start studying this English grammar book to improve your knowledge of English grammar, because when you can use English grammar better and more easily and also correctly and at a more advanced level, that means you can speak English much longer, use more complicated and sophisticated sentences and structures, and sound more advanced and speak English more like native speakers. Improved knowledge of English grammar together with improved knowledge of English vocabulary can form a perfect combination which enables you to speak English at an advanced level and at the level of native speakers, or in a very similar way to how native speakers speak English. So don't forget to expand your English grammar and also your English vocabulary. The tip number 8, always try to get feedback. When you want to improve a skill, you need to practice regularly, and also you need to have those who are doing it better than you do evaluate and assess how you're doing it. This way you can make sure that you're improving that skill and you're taking it a step further. In the case of improving your English speaking skills, you can easily have those friends of yours who speak English better than you do, or English teachers or tutors or private teachers evaluate and assess your speaking skills and your performance to tell you if you're doing it well, or what you should do to do it better, or how you can improve the way you're speaking English, to share some tips and tricks with you that you can use and take advantage of to be able to speak English better. In addition to having others evaluate and assess how you speak English, you can also rely on self-assessment and evaluation. How? By recording your own voice while speaking English, or videos of yourself while speaking English, and watching those videos or listening to those voices and those audio files later on, and comparing how you speak English, your performance, to those who you believe are better at speaking English than you are, or to those who you believe speak English much better than you do. This way you can have a better idea about how you're speaking English and what you can do to speak better. So always make sure that you're paying enough attention to assessment, any type of assessment, whether it's getting feedback from others or conducting self-assessment, to be able to speak better and have a look at your performance from a different angle, to get your problems out of the way and perfect your speaking skills. Tip number 9, always stay motivated and positive in the process of learning a new language and improving your skills of that specific language. What do I mean by that? Whether you like it or not, or you want it or not, learning a new language presents a lot of challenges to you and puts you in a situation in which you face a lot of difficulties and a lot of challenges and a lot of problems unexpected problems and challenges, if you are not motivated enough to reach your goal of improving your speaking skills, then you will not be able to improve your speaking skills successfully. So when you set yourself a goal, you need to accept that you will face some challenges and maybe a lot of obstacles to reach your goal. And at the same time, you need to be motivated enough to reach that goal of yours, no matter how difficult it might be, by getting all the problems out of the way, all the obstacles out of the way. The same goes for improving your speaking skills. Do not think that improving your speaking skills is as easy as you think. It takes a lot of effort, determination, patience, energy, and a lot of motivation. Sometimes you feel that you're putting a lot of energy and effort into improving this language and your speaking skills, but after a while you feel that you're not getting anywhere, you're not making any progress in terms of improving your speaking, and you feel disappointed and frustrated. But focus your mind on the end of the journey, which is reaching your goal of improving your speaking skills. And imagine how happy you feel when you can speak English perfectly, and when you have mastered this language and you can speak it better. Then this will fill you with the energy and the motivation that you need to keep going, no matter how difficult the going may get, or no matter how difficult it might be for you to move forward. So stay positive and stay motivated in order not to give up on improving your speaking skills. And the tip number 10, immerse yourself in English. Yeah, that's right. Immerse yourself in English. Now you might be wondering what I mean by immersing yourself in English. When you immerse yourself in English, you expose yourself to English all the time. You surround yourself with English all the time. And English becomes the center of your universe. And English becomes everything in your life and forms the most important part of your life and becomes an inseparable part of your life. When English becomes an integral part or an inseparable part of your life, that means you will improve the speaking skills of this language much faster, like at an unbelievably faster pace. Why? Because everything that you see is in English. Everything that you read is in English. Everything that you listen to is in English. Everything that you say is in English, which means everything about you, everything around you is all in English, meaning that you've put yourself in an environment in which you're exposed to so much of what you want to reach and what you want to become better at doing or better with. Then that means the more you're exposed to it, the more you can absorb it, the more of it you can have, the more of it you can gain, the more of it you can achieve, and the better you can become at doing it, or the better you can become with it. Which is why you really need to expose yourself to English, immerse yourself in English. Instead of translating things from your own language into English, try to imagine their English equivalents in your mind, like all the time, or try to speak English to yourself in your mind. That's how you can immerse yourself in English or expose yourself to English even further. Wherever you go, you can say, okay, I know the name of this object in my own language, but how do we say it in English? So try to find the English equivalent, what you know how to say in your own language in English. And also, when you hear someone in your own language saying something, saying a sentence, always wonder how you can say the exact same sentence in English as well, and find the best way that you can say that sentence in English. And that way, when you expose yourself to English at this level and this much, that means you've drowned yourself in the ocean, in the sea of speaking English and English language. And that way, with that sort of mindset, you can improve your speaking skills like much faster. Alright guys, that's about all. So you can easily take advantage of these 10 tips that I shared with you to speak English better and also improve your speaking skills at a faster pace and, in a faster way than expected. Now what I kindly want you to do is like this video in support of me, your YouTube English teacher. Also, subscribe if you haven't done so yet and leave some positive comments down below. I'll be back soon.